Oh boy, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate on this one. Hi, hello everybody, NitPicker1 here, complaining about issues great and small for your entertainment. And today we're gonna be talking about Sonic Omens. People have been popping off about this game all over social media, and I know I'm a little bit late on this, but I had to see what all of this was about. People are claiming such things about this being better than anything Sega's put out recently, and that they should hire this man, and all of this and that, and you know, I had to find out what this was all about. Sonic Omens sucks. Yeah, I'm there already, and I ain't afraid to go right ahead and say it. Omens sucks. And by that account, no, this game is not better than what Sega's been putting out recently. In fact, I think I can safely say that every Sonic game is better than this. But before you say, oh well, Nitpicker, it's just a fan game, go easy on it, he doesn't have the budget that Sega has. And yeah, you're right. So why is everyone saying that Omens is better than what Sega has been putting out? Why is everyone hyping up this stupid fan game that came out of nowhere? And another thing, Bolt doesn't have the budget that Sega has? That he's making this Sonic game for free because he's passionate about it? I wouldn't be too sure about that, because yes, while Bolt does not have the budget that Sega has, he is not making this game for free because Bolt, or I'm sorry, Ouroboros Studios, has a Patreon. They are profiting off this game. I'll let someone who can explain this better explain. Go.
The issue is something that I actually brought up all the way back in my Sonic 3D Blast video from around a year ago. And that is that the creator of this game, who goes by Bolt Online, is directly profiting from this fan game through a Patreon page, where they would give incentives towards more game content such as, pay me this much money and I'll make this level next. Now this is nothing new. Bolt got in shit for this back when Sonic 2020 came out. I mean, that's what I made fun of them for in my video from back then. But it appears for this new one, they've instead changed the Patreon to the name of their game studio, in an attempt to make it look less scummy, I guess? See, this is what I think happened. Sonic 2020 came out and everyone loved it and started donating to Bolt's Patreon. Then some sane people started to question the validity of doing something like that, with Bolt ultimately losing around 180 of those patrons. But instead of taking the L, realizing what they were doing was wrong and either A, cancelling the project altogether, or B, continue working on it as a passion project without any financial reward, they instead changed the name of their Patreon in the game from Sonic 2020 to Sonic Omens, in the hopes that when it comes out next year, people will have forgotten about it, and be more willing to once again donate. But it ain't gonna work out, because obviously people have caught on to this scummy behavior.
But what does this mean for the purposes of my review? Well, since this is a legit game development studio with supporters and quote-unquote investors on Patreon, I technically have to judge this as a cheap indie game using fan-made engines, and for some reason only has one guy making the entire game for some reason, even though they allegedly have a team. But mainly what I want to do for this review is show the harsh truth that this, shocker, is not better than what a $1 million company is doing. I don't care how much Sega has mistreated us these past 20 years, which I'll get to later in the review, but this is not, a single person isn't going to make a better game than Sega. I mean, it could happen, but this isn't the one, alright? Anyway, I'll try to be easy on this game where I can, but there are many problems with this game that just aren't good at all, objectively or subjectively. But you know what? Who cares? No matter the problems I bring up that are objective problems with the game, people are gonna call me an asshole and that I'm being too hard on a fan game dev. Oh yeah? Well, I would rather be too hard on a fan game dev and call their game shit than sucking their dick saying it's better than what Sega officially releases when it clearly isn't and shouldn't be said that way. Alright, let's do it. Let's see how Omens stacks up against every other Sonic game. Let's nitpick Sonic Omens. Alright, let's get started and let's see how long it takes for Sonic Omens to rip something fuck off. This is a direct ripoff of Marvel's Spider-Man's intro, and it doesn't even make any sense. Let's compare Spider-Man's intro and see why it works. So first off, we get a fade in from the window with a soft rendition of the main theme from Marvel's Spider-Man, slowly panning over showing Spider-Man's family. They're not important in the story of Marvel's Spider-Man, but it's important to his origin, so they feel the need to show but not tell it because we already know this. They just want to establish what's already here so we can get familiar with this version of Peter. Then it pans over all his Spider-Man equipment just lying around, showing he's tinkering and constantly improving his suit. Then we get a shot of this magazine showing one of the main characters of the story, Norman Osborn, setting our expectations and knowing that he will have a role in this story. Then we hover over empty vacation and new laptop jars, implying that this Peter Parker is not rich and has no money for such things, not even the laptop. That being confirmed because we see this laptop is all battered up. Then hovering over newspaper clippings to establish the villains we'll be facing in the game. And then finally seeing sticky notes giving more insight into this Peter Parker, and also confirming that he has not paid his rent, which is then shown again when the owner comes by and slides the final bill at the end of the cutscene. I could go on, but this shows why this cutscene was made. But here in Omen, oh yeah, just toss some things together on a piano. What are these books? Oh yeah, because Sonic is totally known for reading. Phone that Sonic apparently has, why not? And then this text for Maybe that you can't read because the lighting is poo-poo. Nothing in this cutscene makes any damn sense, and the cutscene even goes longer than Spider-Man's does, just making the whole thing feel pointless and slow. It feels like Bolt just didn't really know what to do for the intro, saw Spider-Man and thought, hey, it'd work for Spider-Man, why not this? Without realizing why it worked for Spider-Man. Everything in the frame of Spider-Man's intro felt important and felt like you had a reason to see all of it. But here, it's just random things thrown out and about that Bolt must have had on his hard drive. That's what it feels like. It feels like a bootleg version of that Spider-Man intro. It really does. Someone who doesn't understand why it works or what it does, but just throws it on screen because they need to make something in a hurry for their boss or company, so then copy it frame by frame but try to put some different things so they don't get caught. Spider-Man's intro looks like a simple, incredibly cinematic, well-placed intro that feels like it was meant to be there. An intro to establish a setting that most are familiar with already, but meant to remind of all what this character is known for and stands for. Sonic Omens version does none of this. It's an incredibly tone-deaf ripoff of an intro that Bolt clearly did not understand, nor tried to replicate in its original vision. I could go on and on about this, but let's move on. We got way more to talk about, more pressing matters to talk about than just a rip-off intro. Alright, so off the heels of that, let's go into the presentation. It's a fan-made game, what do you expect? The animation is fine, but it's not winning any awards. I think it's better than Sonic Heroes, but even then, at least Sonic's arm doesn't do this. Major problem is that most of the animation has that stiff, janky look to it. It doesn't move correctly and kind of fumbles around a bit. Sonic Heroes, while being stiff and a bit janky, at least looks kinda good. And besides, these cutscenes only last for a few seconds before the stage starts, and when there's actual plot, they get replaced with CGI cutscenes so you can take them more seriously. So in Heroes, the animations are passable, especially for the GameCube. But Sonic Omens, I mean, I might give it a stink eye on many occasions for being stupid, unrealistic, and downright bad, but for a fan game, it's fine, but they don't look magnificent. Fuck off. Alright, time to shatter your expectations. This game looks horrendous. Shocker, it's cheap lighting that doesn't at all look better what $1 million corporation puts out. Who would have thought it? Apparently a lot of people didn't, because people say this game is gorgeous, oh my god! And no, it isn't gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Now what do I mean by looks gorgeous? The game itself does not look good. The models, the environments, all of that. It looks cheap and doesn't clash well. It's realistic environments clashing with the 2-foot talking hedgehog, but the lighting is what tricks this game to look better than what it does. It doesn't look good, it looks pretty. Let me show you an example. Take my camera for instance. It's not an expensive looking camera and kind of looks bad. There's grain everywhere, it doesn't show much detail on my skin or my clothes, nothing. Just a kind of bad looking picture. So I could leave it like this, or I can just slap some magic bullet on it to make myself look more professional and make the picture just look more pretty to look at. So that begs the question, why don't I use these effects to make my camera look more pretty and expensive? Because doing it like this is forcing what I had to look pretty, not it looking good. Omens is the exact same thing. It's cheap models and environments with bloom lighting to make it look pretty to cover up the lack of detail they obviously don't have. Now you could assume that this style of lighting is just bad then, right? Wrong. It can be used right and it can look breathtaking. And in fact, there is a game that does it and does it well. Ori and the Blind Forest / Ori and the Will of the Wisp uses this sort of lighting technique, and does it look bad? No, it's gorgeous. It doesn't look gorgeous, it is gorgeous. So why does it look so good and Omens doesn't? And hell, for that matter, if it's so cheap and easy to do, why don't more games use it? Because it appeals to a certain art style. First off, Ori was made with the bloom lighting in mind, so they make details around the bloom lighting. So they add detail, but in a different way. The game looks like a moving painting, making it feel like you're in a dream fantasy. If you've ever played this game, you probably felt relaxed, right? Maybe even almost fall asleep. That's because the art style looks like a dream. When you look at this game, it looks like you're dreaming this while in a relaxed sleep, and the characters and story carry that, along with the ridiculously smooth and elegant animations. Again, giving that moving painting look. Sonic Omens is like if someone made a fan game and tried to make it look like Ori. And I'm not saying they did that, though I found out that one of the demos actually used an Ori soundtrack. But that's what it feels like. Again, I feel like a lot of the ideas Bolt had for this fan game just feel like he ripped off a whole bunch of ideas from better expensive games, but doesn't understand why they were good and made for those games in mind, and only for those games in mind. Alright, presentation and animation out of the way, let's talk about voice acting. It's laughable. Even for fan-made voice acting standards, it's just bad. The actual voices are okay, minus you, but we'll get to you in a minute. About 90% of the time, they just sound like robots, and they didn't even think about doing another take when it goes the wrong way. Tails is the worst of this. I'm sorry, whoever voice acted him, and I know who it is because I checked the credits, but you need a lot of work. I just don't think her Tails impression sounds very appropriate. It just sounds too feminine for Tails. But your acting just isn't quite there. But believe me, it's not just Tails, it's everyone. They all have this robotic performance that causes them to stumble over their words and pronounce them the wrong way.
Salutations, trespassers! Welcome to my humble and elaborately booby-trapped abode. I would offer hospitality, but your fate was sealed as soon as you stepped foot in one of the greatest structures created by me.
And I know this feeling because I do it too, when I go back in the recording while I'm editing my videos and just want to kick myself. And honestly, I've probably done it reading this exact paragraph, but the difference here is that I'm just a stupid fucker making YouTube videos for 710 subscribers, and if I think it's really that bad, I edit in a redone line. But again, I'm just one guy. This is a whole small game studio that could have easily said, hey, redo your lines, please. But nothing. Nothing is as laughable as Shadow's voice actor, because not only does he have the worst performance, not only does he talk too fast and say robots instead of robots,
I see the remains of Eggman's robots.
but of all things he did with Shadow, he made him sound Russian. Listen, there are a list of things that I don't want out of a Sonic voice actor, and having any of them sound Russian is pretty much up there. And yes, after checking with the original voice actor, he is in fact Russian, which explains it, but jeez, this does not work. But hey, it's kind of funny, so I'll at least give him that. And by the way, before you say something like, well, they just worked with what they had, you know? Like, this is a fan game, they couldn't get professional voice actors. I'm not asking for professional voice actors, but I'm pretty sure if they took a little bit of the money that they got out of their Patreon, they could have got at least decent voice actors. Alright, so it's been a mixed bag up until this point, but hey, you know what? All of this is fine and should be expected from a fan game. So it's not about the presentation or voice acting or anything, because this is a fan-made game. Even though people are all over the moon sucking Bolt's dick for all this, but hey, you know what? Whatever. All that matters is the gameplay. Maybe the gameplay makes up for all of this trash, and maybe the gameplay was so good that everything else about it just flew over people's heads and they thought it was better than it actually was, and it all just blended together, right?
Here we go! Whoa!
Nope, game's still shit. This is why Sega should run for their money. This should make Sega hire Bolt as CEO of the company and bring Sonic back to life. Oh, please. Looking past all the glitches for a second, this game just has barely anything to it. Looking past all of the glitches for a second, this game just has barely anything to it that Bolt has done. There are some neat effects with the boosting, how the screen shakes and some of the effects, but it's the fan-made engine Sonic Infinity doing it. Now, apparently this game was also made with the Unity engine, and I don't know what all they did with it, because most of this game is just using Infinity, and if you look at all of the other stages and games made on this engine, they all are made basically the same. Wide open levels and all that jazz. So what Bolt is doing here is nothing special. But are the level designs better than Generations, or even dare I say Sonic Forces? No. Sorta in the Forces department, but definitely not in the Generations department. See, the first few levels are pretty okay. Wide open areas with a good chunk of enemies for the sake of variety and not make it feel empty. But the more you get into the game, the more that philosophy just goes right out the window and the more empty it feels. The levels are way too wide. The camera is too far away from Sonic, making the levels feel way too big and like you're farther away from the action. See, Forces may have had really small and straight line levels, but the camera was at least close to Sonic, making them feel better than they actually are. And you can take in all the detail from the world in Sonic's perspective, making you feel like you're right there with Sonic, adding with the cinematics that happens during the levels. If Sonic Forces had Generations camera, Forces stages would have been way more dull than they already are. But even if the camera placement in Omens was better, these levels would still feel so empty and lifeless. Oh, the first few levels are fine, you know, some empty spots, but most of it's all good. But when we get to the later stages like Shadow's last stage, oh my god, look at all this nothing that's here. Oh wait, did I say Shadow's last stage? Oh no. What about Sonic's Water Palace stage? This level is freaking huge, but more importantly, it's empty and confusing. Look, this is a Sonic game. I don't want to be confused about where I'm going. I just want to go. And oh sure, they give you some random hints every now and then, and like one camera angle to this random button that for some reason unlocks this bumper over here. Jumping ahead here, we the Flintstones actually played this level in multiplayer after both of us have already played the game, and we even forgot where to go. That's how confusing this level is, and you might be saying to yourself, well, Nitpicker, you don't like challenge. Oh no, I like challenge, but there's a difference between challenge and confusion. The latter, most if not always, having to be the dev's fault for not giving clear enough directions. Again, in a Sonic game where I want to know 100% where I want to go so I can go high speed. That's what this series is all about, especially the boost formula. Making huge levels like this is just lazy, cheap, ignorant level design from someone who doesn't understand how level design works. But it doesn't matter because look everybody, this is so much better than what Sega's putting out, right? Throw away your Sonic Generations and don't even think about pre-ordering Sonic Colors Ultimate because it's the true magnum opus of Sonic. So much better than what Sega's been officially putting out. Just, man. And what's funny is that the best level design in Sonic Omens is White Jungle ripped straight out of Sonic Adventure 2. Oh, and by the way, Sonic Omens is the best Sonic game ever, but I thought you Sonic fans didn't like when Sega reused level designs and themes. But when this game does it, nah, it's impressive and better than what Sega's been doing. Oh, and by the way, do you remember how in that 0 out of 10 Sonic Adventure 2, the vine thingies would be super slow? Oh, and also how you had to point the camera where the vine was so you'd be sure to make it? Oh, and also how this level design was not made for the boost formula at all, so when you try to use it, you go flying all over the place and you most likely fall? Best Sonic game ever! Better! That is not what I put in the script, but I'm going to keep that in. Well, clearly, if this is the best Sonic game ever, then that means they fine-tuned the homing attack to work, right? And surely they made it to where you don't just go through geometry.
And you could see right through.
Oh man, you know, just fine-tuned game. Just 10 out of 10. Oh, and the glitches in this game? Oh boy, you might want to sit down here. Question, you know that game, you know, Sonic 06, which is like, you know, one of the worst games of the franchise? You know, so glitchy and buggy, you know. Was there ever a moment where an obstacle didn't load in until you restarted the whole damn game? Or what about a bug that causes you to phase through a rail grind and then restart the game and then everything's fine? No, but seriously, I did this for a goddamn hour trying to find a way to get it to work, but it just wouldn't. I got so frustrated and headed off of it for the night. Then, the next day, I tried it again, and what do you know? It works fine on the very first try. Oh, fucking wonderful. But all this is... It's fine, you know, it's all well and good. It's really not, but I'm just playing up dramatics. But these two final things about this game had made me want to send my child, the evil destructor Demolition Yeti, to rain hellfire on the likes of Ouroboros Studios. Both of them being the worst thing in a game I have ever played. Period. Not Sonic. Period. And that would be the stupid, dumb, stupid tornado stages. Holy God, I hated these. Holy God, I hated these. Now, in complete fairness, I do like the idea of tornado levels. I think they are a fun idea and would be a great variety in a Sonic game. So when I heard about this, I was actually a little bit excited and see what they would do. And I got bullshit. See, what I was expecting, and I think they should have done, was make it sort of like a fast-paced version of Star Fox. You know, a linear corridor where you just fly your ship quickly and try to shoot enemies without getting hit. I think it'd be a really cool idea. But with Bolt's absolute obsession to make open level design, he just had to make maze-like levels that don't make any sense. The first level, everything looks all the same. So when you're trying to figure out where to go, more than likely you go in a goddamn circle. Because this turning table thing is just fucking stupid. Because your ship can be so big, it barely fits in the camera, so it winds up... But one of the things I hate about these levels is that your ship can stop in midair. That just defies all the laws of physics. And what's even better is that you can replay these stages as Shadow and his hang glider from Sonic 06, and that makes this even worse. No Sonic game, hell, piece of media for that matter, has got that wrong. None. So it makes me angry because if Bolt actually didn't defy the laws of physics, then the stupid level design would... Also, you can disagree with me on this all you want, but I don't think the wings of the ship should have had a hitbox, especially when you're boosting. Now, why do I say that? Because when you are playing this type of game, your eyes are focused on the center of the screen. So when you get hit by just the tip of your wing, it feels a little bit unfair. Oh, and also, apparently someone said that the hitbox feels too large. I don't really have evidence of that.
Now I do.
But this part, maybe you just want to put the game down. I'm serious. I almost reached a breaking point on this part of the game. So there are these gun agents that shoot lasers at you, right? So it's that classic shoot the enemies down before their laser kills you. Okay. Only one problem. The enemies have so much health. Literally, I start shooting him before he even starts charging up his laser, and he still gets me. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, NitPick, you stupid. Just barrel out of the way and then shoot him again. This fangame game is a 10 out of 10. You just gotta get good. Oh, yeah, I could totally do that if I had auto-aiming. No, I'm not kidding. This 2021 fangame that people are claiming is better than every other Sonic game does not have auto-aiming, which means you need to be absolutely precise with every shot you take. So if I barrel out of the way, I need to readjust my shot. And not to mention, the laser lasts for way longer than it needs to. Evidenced by the fact I went completely around the enemy and he still managed to have some juice left and killed me. But nothing frustrated me more than the boss fights. Oh, sure, the one at the end of the game, it's alright and looked kind of cool, not gonna lie. But the other two, oh, fuck off. These are the cheapest boss fights I have ever played before. These are worse than any other Sonic boss fight, and I am willing to challenge you on that. Dragon E0 is one of the worst bosses I have ever faced. So the homing attack, being as garbage as it is, actually causes you to miss, and in most cases, fall on the Egg Dragoon and take a hit. So my strategy is to collect 1 or 2 rings at a time, so that way I can get some more if a buggy homing attack happens. But there's a catch to this strategy. The Dragoon has 1 of 3 attacks it'll do. The first is it will rise up and shoot you. Fair enough. The second, he'll drag his gun across the floor, which is also fine. But the third method is cheap bullshit, where he'll jump up and pounce down onto you, and you have about 3 seconds to react. And I mentioned that the Dragoon metal blends in with the stage, causing you to not be able to see it sometimes, or not focus on it at the very least. And this game looks like a PS5 game. So my point is, you have to keep moving, running around, and making sure he doesn't hit you. Because if you stand around, you will not have time to react, because the Dragoon hitbox is massive and will kill you. So you have to keep running. But robots spawn out of nowhere and take your rings, and it's just... And also you have to stay close to the Dragoon, because you literally have 1 second to hit it. But escaping the Gnarl? might be a bit cheaper because it's the classic, snake goes underground and you have to shoot it while it's out. Only one problem, you don't know when or where he's gonna pop up. So if you don't act in time, you either get hit or worse, not be able to shoot it. Now, if only I had some kind of radar to alert me when he's coming up. Like every other game that does this kind of boss fight. But no, when you play with Bolt, you don't get auto-aiming or alert radars. Because when you play with Bolt, you play hardcore. You don't get auto-aiming. Aim at yourself, you pussy. You don't get radars. Have telepathic vision, you wuss. And this is the best Sonic game ever made. I just realized I didn't even talk about the story. I don't even care. It sounds like a fan fiction. What do you want me to say? There's a big Metarex reject. Chaos Emeralds are back, so it's just another Chaos Emerald hunt story. Some big giant guardian monster. I don't fucking know, man. Multiplayer was an afterthought. Sometimes you need Shadow to activate certain switches. Yeah, that's what I want in a multiplayer racing game. Had to wait for my opponent to catch up to me and do something mandatory. I'm tired, mates. Honestly, I am. Look, you can boycott me and tell me that I'm just some dickhead yelling at some fangames work, but you know what? Fuck Bolt. Fuck Ouroboros Studios. Not because they made a shitty fan game, but because he's treating it as this big title when it's no better than every other fan game. Well, it has shiny cutscenes and a weird ass plot. Oh, Sega, give them the keys to the company. Oh, please. Just because it looks kind of pretty and kind of impressive, they think it's a great fucking fan game worthy of being put on consoles and being better than every other Sonic game. Well, you know what? No. It isn't. I would recommend any other Sonic game over this. Any. Yes, even the poopy ones. Bolt, a single-minded fan gamer who doesn't know how level design works. He placed Sonic in a huge-ass square, gave him the boost, put a magic bullet all over it to make it pretty, and called it a day. And look, I don't want to be malicious, but at this point, I'm fucking tired of hearing about this stupid fan game, and how it's amazing in every single way. Look, Sega has not been good to us, especially in the past 10 years. I'll admit that, and I will condemn them for that. But even Forces, as flawed as a game as that was, put research and development behind the game's level design, as flawed as it is. Artists, level designers, creators, directors, multiple people have made those games. But Omens is just made by one individual with no direction, and hey, that can work. I'm not going to deny that Christian Whitehead worked out and he was just a single fan gamer, but the difference here is that Christian Whitehead knew what he was doing. Sega gave him the budget and, more importantly, the guidance. Yeah, believe it or not, I hate to tell you, but when Christian Whitehead was making Sonic Mania, or hell, even the mobile phone ports, Christian Whitehead had and needed guidance. Because you can't go from a fangamer to AAA development. That's not how that works. But Bolt made a game that is good at tricking people into saying, hey, this is what you want, open world level design, a more serious Sonic story, great graphics. I'll give that all to you, not Sega. And the fans fell for it anyway, not even thinking about or even considering, is this game actually good? Is the level design empty? Does a serious Sonic story really work in the way I think? Is this one-person fan game that's being developed by a studio for some reason that took about 2 years to develop better than a full team of designers who at least try to make their games look decent even when their game is flawed? Rather than just giving us an empty shell of a game, Bolt gave the fans exactly what they were asking for. An open world level design boost game, but without thinking about whether the game he had was quality or not. And in my opinion, given what I think to be objective opinions and criticisms about Omens, I do not think this game is quality. And I think your time is better spent on real Sonic games. Adventure 2, Generations, half of Unleashed if you don't mind the frame rate, and more. Not to mention there are better fan games than this. I can't think of any examples right now, but there's definitely better fan games than this. Is this really where we're at right now? Has Sonic got so bad in terms of quality that when a fan game comes out that looks even a little bit impressive, people are just over the moon excited for it? Is that where we're at? Is this where we're at? You know, if anything, I'm not even mad at Omens at this point. I'm more mad at Sega because they just keep getting it wrong to the point where every time a fan game of something like this comes out, it's seen as impressive and better than what Sega's been putting out. And I don't exactly blame Sega. I blame the quality of their games, but I don't blame them. But you know what? I just hope that for the 30th anniversary, whatever Sega's got cooking, because we don't know what it is, but whatever they got cooking, I hope it knocks our socks off. I hope it shows this game what an absolute travesty it is. Because I can tell you now, this is not an actual Sonic game. It's not a AAA developed Sonic game. It is impressive. I will not deny that. It does look impressive for a fan game, but that's all it is. It looks impressive as a fan game, not as an actual game. If this came out as an actual game, this thing would get slaughtered. And that's just the harsh truth. And I'm sorry if I seem like I'm being hard on Bolt, because I'm recording this after I've done this review up to this point. That's why I'm kind of like stuttering, because this is kind of all improv. I'm just kind of talking to a mic at this point. Mario doesn't have this. Mario doesn't have fangame, you know, when they actually come out, in fairness. But they don't come out better than what Mario does, because Mario actually rocks, like, their fans off. Like, Mario cares about their fans. And I'm not going to say that Sega doesn't exactly care, but they don't care in the sense that Mario does, or Nintendo. Because like I said, if we're getting to the point where a fan game looks impressive and better than what Sega's been putting out, if the fans are this, like, desperate for a good Sonic game, because I think this is what this all boils down to, is just the fans are desperate for this magnum opus, amazing Sonic game, and they'll get it from anywhere. Because that's what kind of happened with Christian Whitehead. Christian Whitehead came along and made a great Sonic game back in the 16-bit, you know, and he came in, and now people are looking for the 3D Sonic equivalent. That's what I feel like is happening with Omens. But this just isn't it. This just isn't it. And the fact that Bolt is scummy enough to charge for this, in terms of Patreon, I don't care if he's not, you know, you don't have to pay for it in order to, like, play the game. I don't care. Money is money, no matter what. Profit's profit. Even if it's by choice or not, it just feels so wrong. And just adds so much to this problem, you know? Okay, I'm gonna finish this. But I don't think I'm done with Omens, because there's still episodes to be released, and I don't know how many there will be, but I will return to Omens. Whether that's every episode or just when the full game is out. Whichever. I will criticize the rest this game has left to offer. So let me know what you think. What do you think of my review? Was I unfair with this game? Do you think I was fair enough? Do you like Omens? Do you think it's an objectively good game? Let me know and continue the discussion in the comments, and I'll reply to each and every one of you. Make sure to like this video before you do. It helps out a ton. And this is Nitpicker signing off. See you next time, and thanks for watching.